it was hard because I did want to be an All Black my whole 16 years up until that point.
Yeah.
But from that moment on, I was just like, maybe my dream's somewhere else in another sport, and that's when I just fully locked in. There's so much room at the table. The table's like endless. All you have to do is drive around the Gold Coast and see how many houses are on the water. There's that many rich people.
Yeah,
there's plenty of opportunity for everyone, and I felt like I had a lot more to give. But I was pretty upset when they literally just didn't call me back. It was just bad tackle tech, and I cracked my jaw in three places, and had to get 4 plates, put them in my jaw, and just the next 10 weeks was torture. I was quite lucky. I've been with my my fiance now since I was like 16. So from when I left New Zealand, we've been together. Yeah. So I always kind of had that to keep me level-headed.
So that together we have clarity, direction, and success way beyond what we ever previously thought possible. Here's your host, Frankie Lee.
Welcome back to the Frankie Lee podcast. Today, guys, we have a guest that's killed it on the international scene and played at a high level in rugby league for the Brisbane Broncos. He's played for the Kiwis. He's got an awesome photo and videography agency that's doing bits as well. Chur Media. He's doing bits. It's Jordan Kahu. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me, brother. I'm excited. Let's go,
mate. Let's go, man. Let's absolutely, so many learnings throughout this podcast that I think are going to hit people's ears at the right time with everything that you've done throughout your whole career and the pivots you've had to make, the injuries you've had to beat. I mean, let's just take it right back. When you were younger, obviously you started playing rugby in New Zealand and then Australia. Did you ever think back in those days that you were going to get to the pinnacle of the career like you did? Or was it something you inherently knew? Because obviously, it's so competitive here for getting into rugby league and playing for your country. Do you know what I'm saying? There's a lot in that.
Yeah, there's plenty of competition. I knew from a young age. It was always obviously just a dream when I was younger, but I was super hungry. I didn't do what most kids done. I sacrificed a lot when I was younger to train those extra days that no other kid was doing. And I knew from a young age I was just hungry. I wanted to be the best at my sport, and I wanted to be on TV. I wanted kids to be yelling my name in the backyard, and I didn't want to stop at anything. I didn't get into trouble with my mates because I knew that would jeopardize my future. So I was set from a young age. I knew what I wanted, and I wasn't going to let anything tarnish that.
Is it a massive tradition within your family set up to play rugby and rugby league and all that kind of stuff? Yeah,
my parents were quite sporty, but they didn't really do anything in the sporting world professionally. But my dad was a big All Blacks fan growing up, and I guess that's where I got my passion from. They kind of pushed me, but they didn't want me to be a certain thing just for them. It was all about my dreams, and if I told them my dreams, they would help me do that by helping me train and that type of thing. It wasn't anything forced.
And was it a hard kind of decision to pursue league? Because obviously with league you play for the Kiwis, right? And with Union you play for the All Blacks. Yeah. Now I presume that every kid's dream in New Zealand and from Kiwi background is to play for the All Blacks, right?
Yeah.
Because they're probably the most known kind of entity.
Yeah.
How did you come to formulate the decision that you were going to pursue league?
So it started, I was at high school. I was at a real good Union high school in Wellington. And you don't play any club footy back there. So when you're at school, you're playing for the school and that's it. And I was quite young. I was in and out of the school's first 15 team, and I was a young kid wanting to play, and that was the only sport I could play during the winter.
Yeah.
And I was sitting on the bench. I was 15, sitting on the bench because I was quite young, and I probably wasn't as advanced as the older boys yet. But I just wanted to play. And then there was one tournament where I got 4 or 5 minutes out of the whole tournament, and I was just like, stuff this, I'm going to play league. And I was kind of rebellious to do that, and that's kind of when the dream switched from the All Blacks. It was hard because I did want to be an All Black my whole 16 years up until that point.
Yeah.
But from that moment on, I was just like, maybe my dreams somewhere else in another sport, and that's when I just fully locked in.
Back in New Zealand, though, do the Kiwis and the All Blacks get the same kind of support, like in terms of like or is it more weighted towards the All Blacks?
Yeah, definitely. New Zealand Rugby League struggles definitely compared to the All Blacks. All Blacks are just the pinnacle of the country, and I think like from a very young age, kids are just wanting to be All Blacks. So that's where all the funding's gonna go, and because they're just so damn good. It's
Yeah.
It's hard to compete for any sport back there.
Mate, I remember the first time I saw John Olomu. Mate.
Gun.
That guy, he was like a train, man. Like, he just run. I know he was a big unit, but he didn't look big on TV compared to the other guys that were in the teams, right? And he would just run straight through them. I remember watching him against England, and he just tore straight through like 4 people and kept running.
Crazy.
And
he changed the game. He changed the game because usually, like, big people don't run that fast, So, like, if you're big, you just got put in the forwards, like, automatically, You're a forward now. And all these little, like, sharp dudes would go into the backs. But he kind of changed the game. From that moment on, all the backs just kept getting bigger and bigger and faster, and he changed the game.
Obviously, you're not a small guy, but you're not like the biggest guy in the world in rugby terms, right? Is that why you're suited to the position you're playing?
I just grew up following guys like Jonah. There's another guy, Christian Cullen, Tana Umanga. Those were my idols growing up, so I wanted to be like them. So that's kind of why I played in the backs. I was quite speedy when I was younger as well. So. Like I said before, speed kind of gets pushed to the backs and size gets pushed into the forwards.
Yeah, mate. Honestly, like the thing is, like, when someone chucks you that ball, mate, and you're running with it down the wing or something, like, and then you come up against this like big Samoan dude, and you just run. It's like running into a wall, mate.
Bro.
I mean, just obviously you've been in your career, right? You've been through a few injuries, yeah.
Yeah.
Like. Talk to me about some of the worst injuries you've been through.
I think I've had 12 or 13 like major surgeries in my career.
You've had 13 surgeries?
Yeah, 13. So when I say major, that's when I'm like, I've gone under, like general anesthetic. So that's what I'll class as like a major surgery. But the worst one would definitely be my jaw. Out of all, just the eating and the like, how uncomfortable I was.
Is that because you got like clotheslined or?
Bro, I actually was tackling someone, so I rushed in from the wing and tried to tackle someone, and I like kind of tried to wrap the ball up, and I hit their shoulder, so it was my fault. It wasn't like no one else's fault. It was just bad tackle tech, and I cracked my jaw in three places. And had to get 4 plates, put them in my jaw, and just the next 10 weeks was torture.
Because the problem with like your game that you're playing, right, with the rugby and stuff, is the fact that it doesn't matter whether you're training or whether you're in a game. Like every week, you're practically in like 3 or 4 car crashes. Yeah, because you're getting smashed by these massive athletes.
Yeah,
like these guys are no joke.
Nah.
They're serious. I watched this documentary on Johnny Wilkinson, right? And there was these guys at the back, and they were rugby tackling this, like they have that thing set up, that grill where they rugby tackle into that fence, and they're pushing this massive like fence thing down the field. I don't know what you call it, but
the scrum machine.
Yeah, scrum machine, mate. The speed these boys are hitting that thing with, like, every day, and then you play a game. So like, talk to me about how many games are you having to play in certain amount of time? Is it like 1 game a week, or is it a couple of games a week, or?
Yeah, so one game a week, pretty much. That's pretty much standard for rugby league. There's never really there's shorter turnaround. So you might play on a Friday and then play the next Thursday, or you might play on the Saturday, play on the Thursday, and that's probably the shortest turnaround you'll have. But you'll definitely only have 1 a week. It's too much, bro. It's like, your body's so wrecked after a game, it's not even funny. Most of the week during the season is about just getting your body ready for the next game, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not so much about training, like putting on size or worrying about weight. It's pretty much just recovery, like sharpening the axe and then into the next game.
Mate, I'll tell you now, it's not for the faint-hearted.
Nah.
Like, it's really not. Just even listening to you talk about that and seeing in your eyes how much goes into that. Like, people, you should be watching this on YouTube, because I'll tell you now, when you were saying that, I could see it, man. Like, there's so much that goes into it.
So much.
People will not understand. This is why I want to break this down. And this is why I like doing podcasts, which is out of my. It's like, this is out of my comfort zone, because I don't pretend to know a massive amount about the sport, but I'm keen to learn about the mindset and what goes into performing at the level you've performed at, and the kind of journey it takes to get there. Like, when you were playing through the youth setup, I presume you're not getting paid very much and stuff like that.
Nah, you're not allowed to get paid until pretty much you finish school. Right. Well, you shouldn't be. I'm pretty sure that there might be a few young guns that are like 17, finishing high school, that may be getting paid. But yeah, pretty much it's a bit different to soccer in England, where you're getting paid from like a real young age. You're not allowed to get paid until you're pretty much in the full-time system. Do
you get like, is there a lot of sponsors that come on board for like good players that come in through like yourself, that they kind of see the kind of like got a good chance?
Yeah, but most of them aren't monetary. I don't know what it's like now, because I've been out of school since 2009. But yeah, most of them it's probably just like free boots, free stuff here and there. But it's a bit of a gamble for like brands to jump on a kid that early as well, especially because from that from high school to the NRL's a massive jump. So it's a bit harder for kids to kind of make it straight away. So I think brands kind of wait till they've made it, and then they'll like throw stuff at them.
I mean, how hard is it because when you leave school at that age, like the 16-year-old age, the first thing you want to do as a man is like jump on all the birds. You want to go out drinking. You probably want to take some drugs. You want to try all these new things. There's all these things flying around you. How hard is it to stay focused on just getting from that 16-year-old birthday to the NRL? Because that, like you say, there's a big window of time, and I presume that window of time is between like 16 and 20, is it? Or
yeah. So some dudes debut at like 18 or younger. But I was quite lucky. I've been with my fiance now since I was like 16. So from when I left New Zealand, we've been together. Yeah. So I always kind of had that to keep me level-headed. Obviously, there was times where I got distracted in the system and stuff like that. But I always had her to kind of keep me level grounded. And it was just like I said before, I didn't want to tarnish my future, and I just with being able to enjoy my latter teen years, I just didn't want to stuff up to ruin my future.
Most of the people in business that I've had on this podcast that are doing real high level stuff, like even the high smile boys that have turned over 200 mil, one of the key things that I've identified is the fact that these boys that are doing big stuff and that have done things like you have, they've all had a stable relationship from an early age. They've locked down a good woman early, and then not locked her down as in like it's just a saying, guys. Before you jump on me,
they'll ball and chain.
Do you know what I mean? Like, but if you get like into this relationship early, like a good solid relationship that with all that stuff, good stuff going on, you can actually you can go and focus on your other purpose, and do that because you don't have to worry about this back here.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
it does make a difference, especially to young men in the pursuit of doing something more than themselves. I've noticed a key trait throughout these every episode, mate. Everyone that's done really big numbers. I mean, maybe Davey Fogarty, who does econ, maybe he's slightly different, but I'm sure he'd even agree that when you've got that kind of, I suppose it's like a soundboard. Yeah. It's almost like you come back from training. You don't want to be, when you come back from training, for argument's sake, for someone like you don't want to be going on having to go out with the lads on the hunt for women and all this kind of stuff, which is what happens in a lot of rugby clubs. Isn't it?
Especially on the bad days, that definitely happens. But on my bad days, I was lucky. I always had her to kind of fall back on.
So from your point of view, am I right in what I'm saying in terms of like, or what's your point of view on it? Like in terms of like how important is it for a young man to kind of go, have someone stable behind him while he's going through the journey. Do you think it's something that's key these days, or?
Yeah, I reckon it's super important. It doesn't have to be like a girlfriend either. It's just to have someone there for when times get tough, or someone to give you honest feedback. That's probably the best thing, is that she gave me honest feedback, not for everyone else's sake, but for my sake. She gave me honest feedback of like, if you do this, you're gonna stuff your footy career up, Or it's like the boys will be like, bro, come out, get wasted, we'll get home at 6 a.m. Like, who cares about training tomorrow? But whereas she was just like, she'd always, have my best interests at heart, which was super important to have.
Yeah, and I'll tell you now, it's so key. So key that if you're gonna be with that person, like it's got to be the right person that does have that interest for you. Because if you had gone out, come back at 6 a.m. and then you tried training. I went to bed last night at 10. Right, I went to bed last night at 10. I woke up for the gym this morning at 5. I was shit in the gym because I didn't go to bed at 9. And I don't even drink, mate. So imagine if you've been out till 6 a.m. and you're trying to play against top players. It does affect you.
Doesn't work.
But was that like one of the things that made you forgo all these things? Because you can quite easily go deep into in professional sports. You can quite easily go into like drink, drugs,
easily,
women,
gambling,
all this kind of stuff. And you must have seen quite a few lads go down these paths.
Yeah.
What is your advice to people that want to go and achieve something high level in sport or business, and want to stay away from these paths, but they've got all these people that are trying to pull them down these paths?
I said something to a person the other day. I think that's something that I have done, early on, is to be able to enjoy my life, but without ruining my future. I
love that. That's a great quote, man.
Yeah, and
enjoy your life without ruining your future. That's fucking impactful, mate.
Yeah, and that's the main message I push to kids is, enjoy your youth, but don't ruin your future. It's just super important to know from a young age, especially if you're chasing dreams in professional sport. Like, every decision has to be based around what you want and where you want to be, and you can't just go out and get into trouble on the weekends if you want to be a professional sportsman. It's not going to work.
I think that works for business as well, and I think it works for your whole life. Like, in terms of every decision that you make should be predicated on where you actually want to go.
Yeah.
Do you kind of think, though, in today's society, that too many people don't know who the fuck they are?
Yeah, for sure, and especially in the sporting world, like you can kind of see all these big stars doing big things, and you get a little taste of that, and you think that's you straight away. And I done that at the start of my career, going out and just trying to like be one of these high profile stars. I definitely wasn't, and that was off the back of me, trying to be someone else, not being truthful to who I was as a person and to the close people around me.
How did you go in terms of bringing yourself back to the truth of who you are?
A lot of pain, I think, and a lot of mistakes. Mistakes were probably my biggest, learning curve. Making mistakes and my injuries played a lot of me growing up as well, because I did have those setbacks quite early on in my career, where kind of everything was taken away from me. Like, and that dream of being a professional athlete was taken away just by one little injury, one little ligament, and I was just like, for that to be taken away from me, it made me realize that I had to be better as a person and as an athlete. Do you
think? I know it sounds a bit woo woo, but do you think that's the world trying to tell you something before, like trying to say, hey, if you don't buck your ideas up, hit this here and here and here in your life, then the next one of these is going to end you. Yeah. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, kind of. I know it sounds. I believe in energy, bro, and I think everything happens for a reason. I think that girl leaves you because of this reason in your life, and you need to learn this, and it's a lesson in everything that you can learn. And it just seems like when you've had some of these injuries and the way that you're speaking about it, it's like at that time, were you being your authentic self, or were you training as hard as you should be, or were you doing the right things nutritionally that you should be. And it's like it like when that injury happens, it all comes down to like, was I living the right way?
Yeah.
And it kind of shows you a lot about yourself, because the only one person you can't lie to yourself when you're laying there in that hospital when you're just about to go under the knife again. He's like, I can't lie to myself now, can I?
Nah.
Like it's quite a powerful thing to face.
So true.
And you see it all, and you see it all, and that's quite a lot for a young man to deal with.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I just one thing I've noticed, especially as I've been in the pursuit myself of trying to become, closer and closer and closer and closer to like what is the true authentic Frankie? How does he want to turn up? How does he want to be?
Yeah.
I think we all go through it, where we go through our 20s, where we're like in this massive fucking dick swinging competition with everybody.
Right, yeah.
Like we're all swinging it around, fucking trying to be the biggest dick at the party.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like you try and align yourself with things and people for the wrong fucking reason.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's like, how have you kind of helped? Like, how have you identified some of that stuff in your life in terms of like what are the key, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. I think like I said before, when everything was taken away from me, and I think like what you said, it was the world kind of showing me like bringing up all the things that I shouldn't have been doing. And yeah, like every time something bad would go wrong, I'd sit there and I'd just think about all the little shit that I'd done. Just all the bad.
What were some of those things that you that were when you were sat there and you were thinking about all the little shit that you'd done wrong? What were those little things that you were doing wrong consistently that were affecting you and where you wanted to go?
At the start of my career, it was drinking. It was so when I done my ACL at the very beginning of my career, and I was touted as one of the best schoolboys at the time. Yeah. So for that to be taken away from me right there, and that year after I did that injury, I probably didn't treat my body as well as I could, and I didn't do all those little things right. And my very first game back, I done my knee again. So I missed that whole year, done my knee again, and then that second knee, I was like, what did I do? I went out drinking pretty much every weekend. Yeah. I wasn't playing, so I didn't have to worry about recovering, like as I was speaking about earlier.
But you did have to worry about recovery. At the same time, you say that you did. Yeah. Because you imagine you're putting a poison into your body. Yeah. But you've got to make this knee healthy and strong again so you can play a whole season on it. Yeah. Not just one game recovering. Yeah. This is like your whole life. Yeah.
So the second time around I done it, I was like, shit, what did I do wrong? And then drinking was the biggest one. So I stopped. I still drank. I was 20. I would have been 21 at the time, but I'd done it like controlling myself. I'd done it like at birthdays and good times, not just every weekend for the sake of it, spending this money that I shouldn't have been spending when I was that young. And the second time around, I was just like, I locked in. I was still living down the Gold Coast, driving to Brisbane and training. I'd come home from training. I'd grab a quick bite to eat, pick missus up from work, and then we'd go back to the gym. And then I was just working, constantly working, and that was my way of getting around and just filling time. Because when I wasn't filling time, I was just like letting outside influences influence me to go out and drink because I had nothing else to do. Yeah. So I was working out, and I'd come home and I'd work out again just to fill the time and to get my body stronger.
So how important then do you think it is to have a purpose bigger than yourself?
Super important. And it's hard because when we were speaking about finding yourself, that moment probably didn't come for a couple of years, and it was a bit, I was a bit all over the place with my head, and I didn't really know who I was until I had my daughter. And that was like, I always say it, like I didn't know why I pushed through all these injuries until 2015 when I had my daughter, and I was like, shit, this is why, this is my purpose. This is why I changed everything that I needed to change was for this moment, right now. And she was my purpose.
Yeah. It's like unconditional love.
Yeah.
When I saw like my niece for the first time, and my nephew as well, obviously he came a few years later. It's like I've never felt a feeling like that.
Yeah,
like even makes me tears me up now, bro. Yeah, like I'm even tearing up now just thinking about it.
I know.
I've never felt unconditional love like it, mate. When I looked at that little girl for the first time, and I was like, "Fuck, that's my sister's." Because I don't have any kids for myself, but like when I looked at her, I was like, "Fucking hell, man, that's that's a part of my family that's never been there before.
Yeah.
Like, and that's a big thing for I think when you start to become more in touch with who you are as a man,
Yeah.
I think that you start to feel and value those things at a whole different level, and that opens up your whole. It's like you've gone your whole life as a racehorse, just fully. You might have fully been channeling sport, women, drugs, alcohol, all that, whatever your vice is. That might, and you're like a racehorse, and then when you start to see things like this, and you start to understand who you are as a man, it's like you take your blinkers off and you start to see the whole fucking world.
Yeah.
And then when you see, and when you you know when you're starting to develop as a man, I feel when you start to when you start to have a purpose bigger than yourself, and when you start to love things more than you love yourself.
Yeah.
Like in terms of like, you got to love yourself, but you can give love to other things as well.
Yeah.
I think it's a massive. It's
That's
like
crazy.
It's a crazy fucking experience.
Yeah.
I can't describe it to you because it sounds a bit like fucking whoa, Frankie. It's a bit deep, bro. But like,
that's so true.
It's so impactful.
Yeah.
And I just think there's so many people out there going around with no purpose than to like. I mean, we can all take selfies in the mirror. We can all look ripped and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And occasionally I throw on Instagram a bit of banter with me with my shirt off, right, in the mirror, right. But behind all that banter, behind all the bravado, I'm like, oh, you know, all I care about is my family.
Yeah.
You know, my podcast, putting the right information into people's ears.
Yeah.
And stuff that's bigger than me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because that's where the growth is in things that are bigger than you, and you learn that through your daughter.
Yeah.
I think that's some powerful shit, mate.
Yeah,
congratulations, bro. Because like,
you.
not many people fucking get that.
Yeah.
Not many people get that. And family's fucking everything, man.
Everything.
Mate.
Everything.
So pivoting back to the rugby, man. When you first signed pro terms, that was for Brisbane Broncos.
Yeah.
Talk me through how that must have felt for you, knowing that you'd fought all that way and then you finally signed your pro contract and that. Like,
so I signed first at the Bronx on an under-20s contract. So I kind of, I didn't get that feeling straight out of school. But the moment came after my first year of under-20s when I got called into the meeting room by the first grade coach at the time. And he was like, we've seen you play. We want you to train full-time in the NRL right now. And I was just like, that's
some mad shit.
All I wanted to do was, I think my dad was waiting for me in the car in the car park. All I wanted to do was just sprint out there and tell him the good news. And just every moment of my life, my good behaviour when I was a teen, especially growing up in Wellington, all that stuff.
Because Wellington's quite a rough area, isn't it?
Yeah, I grew up in a lot of heart. I didn't have, I wasn't super gangster. I didn't have super bad, mates. But, there was times where, I could have easily, switched up and taken a different route. But I was just, I was lucky. I got brought up in a good home. I had a good role model, my older brother as well. And he was similar-minded. And, for all that childhood stuff, for me to be told, that I was training full-time in a professional system was, it was pretty cool.
It's pretty spectacular, isn't it? It must be a spectacular feeling, man.
Yeah.
Honestly, to that just shows you like the culmination of all those years of hard work, and it makes it all kind of worth it.
Yeah.
To you, do you know what I mean?
Sure.
Do you remember making your pro debut?
Yeah. That was it was
pretty fucking insane, wouldn't it have been?
Yeah.
In front of like 50,000 people, I should think.
Yeah, it was we played Melbourne Storm at Suncorp, and 40 or 50k there debut, and Melbourne and Brisbane just got this rivalry, and Melbourne are just always good. So that moment was super special. I think I was when I first ran out, I was off of the in the stars for a bit, because I was just bright lights. I was just where am I? This is a dream. And I kind of didn't get into the game straight away because I was just taking it all in.
NRL is massive here, isn't it?
Huge,
it's massive. In New Zealand, obviously, league takes a step back from rugby union, but here NRL is a religion.
Yeah, for sure.
And you're playing for one of the biggest clubs.
Yeah,
you just rolled out in your debut in front of 50,000 people.
Yeah,
if you were a kid in England, to play in front of 50,000 people, you'd have to be playing for someone like Spurs or Man United or something like that. It's a fucking big. It's a big crowd, isn't it?
Bro, it's crazy. And it took me a missed tackle to get into the game. But I was just I made it. Like, I remember running out. This is probably the only moment at the start of the game I can remember, because the rest was just a blur. But I just remember I was just like saying to myself, like, I made it. Like, looking at the dudes in the other team, and I was just like, shit. Like,
you must recognise that these other players, and you must have watched them for like 10 years. There'll be some old veterans in there. Yeah. And you're just thinking to yourself, fuck, I'm going to take you out, motherfucker.
Bro, I was starstruck, to be honest. I was looking across and being like, I honestly just thought it was a dream, eh? I just thought it was a dream.
Is rugby similar to like young boxers when they come up and have their first professional fights? Is it the same as like you've got to grow into your man strength through the first couple of seasons to be able to play at that level?
Yeah, I think it's hard because there's obviously guns that just come into the comp and carve up as well. It's hard because I guess it's different to boxing. Whereas boxing, there's only one other dude in the ring. It's just you know.
Yeah.
And league's probably more focused around like you've
got to
you've got to do your job. Just worry about your job, and then that'll help the rest of the team. You know what I mean? And it's hard because I guess it depends on position and your role in the team as well.
Did you ever have any instance where like you kind of like you didn't like who you were playing with?
Who I was playing with?
Yeah.
Nah, never had that. I definitely had dudes that I didn't like playing against, but never in my team.
Who are some of the dudes you didn't like playing against?
I don't know if I want to name them, eh? Do you want to name them or what?
What?
There's a few grubs, bro. There's just a few dudes that, you know, like there's banter on the field, and then there's, you know, dudes that take it too far. And a few dudes that, they just would take it too far. Talk about personal shit, you know.
Yeah.
Not directly to me, but like teammates and stuff like that. There was a moment where one of my mates, we were playing a game and he broke his ankle, like full compound fracture.
Wow.
Broke his ankle, and he just kept running his mouth, this dude on the other team. He's like, what are we stopping the game for? Like, and everyone's just like, you know, he just broke his ankle. And he's just like, so? Like, just little stuff like that I just it's too far.
But again, that dude probably hasn't had the realization moment where he's not had the his wings clipped by something outside of his control.
Yeah.
To bring him back into line, to understand, you know, the world's bigger than him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's a lot, because you and I both know, and we've seen in many sports that you know, you even see this in fucking sports like tennis and that. If a guy gets too big, like comes up, he's the best player in the youth, comes up. It's like, and then he gets his wings clipped because he's such a cocky, arrogant fucker. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like sometimes these people that are meant to be like the world's greatest they never come again. They never come again because they get clipped too early. I think it was useful for you at the times when you had injuries. It allowed you the time to learn about yourself, and not many athletes get that time.
Yeah.
Because you from schoolboys until the NRL, you're just all the time playing rugby. But if you have these couple of niggles and couple of this, and you get a little bit of time off, because you're not out with the team all the time. Yeah. You get to understand and sit with yourself long enough to think, maybe I don't want to hang around with these 5 of the team because they're not the right people for me.
Yeah.
They're not. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when you think about all the times that's probably happened in your career, it's probably allowed you to go on and achieve what you've gone and achieve because it's giving you that time. When else are you going to get the time?
Yeah, never, especially at that level. It's just always so much happening. And yeah, you're right. Like when I was injured, you know, I was at home with my family thinking about stuff, you know.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Yeah, I think it's so powerful to be able to do that. Not many people can sit in silence these days, bro.
Nah.
Like, you need to learn that shit real soon.
Yeah.
Some of the biggest, most powerful learnings that I've had in my life is being sat in here and sat in other places, just in silent, no phone, no bullshit, no all this, like, and asking myself, what do I actually fucking want from life, and what do I want from this?
Yeah.
And am I going? Is my ladder even leant against the right wall here? Am I climbing the right ladder of success? Yeah. What success is to me? Because a lot of people aren't. A lot of people who like, I'm pursuing rugby because, like, if you had, like, you know what I mean. If you get 3 sons, right? Statistically, they're not all going to be. They're not all meant to be rugby players.
Nah.
But because you're their dad, they might be told through their school life that they've got to go and be rugby players. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, hard.
But until they have that time where they sit with themselves and kind of and understand what they want, they might not want to be a rugby player. One of them might want to play tennis. One of them might want to do boxing.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? There's a lot, but a lot
that's up to them too.
A lot of people that listen to this need to sit with themselves for a moment and ask themselves, is what I'm doing right now where I actually want to go to? Because there's many people out there, myself included, that I've been in the pursuit of all this stuff throughout our time, got to the pinnacle of it, and then you get there and you're like, fuck, this is not what I wanted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's happened so often, man.
So often.
When you started, when did you first hear about getting selected for the national side?
So it was crazy, bro. So we just lost the grand final, probably the greatest like grand final ever. We lost it in like a thriller, bro. It was crazy. And the Kiwis coach was our assistant coach at the Broncos at the time.
Yeah.
And so I was sitting in the sheds, bawling my eyes out, just missed out on a ring. And he came up to me and he's like, just saying, it's all right. He's like, just make sure you keep training, You're going to need you again this year. And that was like, I was just kind of like, obviously still upset about what had just happened. But I was just like, what? Did he really mean that? Or did he just say it to make me feel better,
You're kind of questioning yourself, man.
And then it wasn't until a week later, I remember exactly where I was. I was hanging the washing out at home, and his number popped up. He rang me. He's like, Jordy, we're picking you in the international squad to travel to England in a couple of weeks. And I was just like, what?
Was that the first time you've been to England as well?
Yeah. Was it? I think it would have been the second time because I went at the start of that year.
Yeah.
Start of the year, but 2015. That was just a crazy year for me. Like I had my daughter, like I said, my purpose. We made that grand final, lost, but then made the Kiwis that year, and it was crazy, bro. I was super excited just to be in the squad. He wasn't telling me that I was playing or anything. But just to be recognised for.
How many people are included in that squad? 20.
I think we take 30 because we're going away. We went to England for 6 weeks, maybe. So like anything can happen over there, obviously. So they need to take enough players for just in case.
Was that an international competition? Was it just training?
Yeah, no. So we went over there for 3 tests first, England.
Yeah.
For like 6 or 7 weeks. My daughter was like 2 weeks old, so I up and left after 2 weeks. So my missus we were lucky enough that my mum and her mum both flew over to help her out because it's super
so much to do,
parents,
innit? Yeah. Credit to her, man.
But that moment was pretty crazy. Just to get picked in the squad was pretty cool,
mate. Honestly, like to wear your country's colours.
Yeah.
And with everything that's gone on through your journey from Wellington to that point, there's so many learnings and so much development and so much heart and soul that's gone into the whole thing. Like to get to that, to walk out. I mean, what was the first place you walked out in England? Like, what stadium were you in?
Where were we? I can't even remember. Can't even remember what one. I remember walking out though, and my legs were shaking like crazy. Because
the national anthem was playing.
Yeah, and then the anthem. I don't think I sung the anthem because I was just like.
You're dazed.
I was dazed, bro, and I was like so upset. I was just like my chin started wobbling, like I was starting to get emotional, and I was just like fuck, I'm actually here. And then leading into the haka. The haka was probably the best thing to kind of snap me back into reality.
Yeah, talk to me about this. You do that before every game, right?
So rugby union, rugby league, they do it before every game. Do a haka.
Right. What age do you start getting taught this in New Zealand?
So at schools they have haka practice as well.
They teach it at school.
Yeah, so it's like they like teaching some Māori songs, Māori haka, Māori performances. There's normally like haka groups in each school where kids can just join, but most of the time it's just from watching the All Blacks. It's like kids just watching the All Blacks. Kids know the haka from watching the All Blacks. That's pretty much how you know.
Is there a set of moves that have to be performed in the haka, or what's the go with it?
So the All Blacks one, they've got kamate, which is kind of their one that they've had for hundreds of years, that they've just always done. And yeah, the like actions are pretty much the same throughout that whole haka.
Yeah.
And then some teams will have their own hakas. Hakas are kind of, they come from each tribe. Like each tribe will have their different haka.
Yeah.
But then for most New Zealand teams, they like these days they try and incorporate each tribe into a haka. They'll probably make up a new haka to kind of like recognize the cultures in that team, and then
I like it.
And then do it through the actions. And
so there's a lot of symbolism and a lot of meaning to Kiwis through this haka.
Yeah, and it's just pretty much warning the opposition that like it's go time, we're ready for war.
Because originally the haka was a war dance, wasn't it? Before they were fighting the English back in the day. Yeah, that's what they were doing.
Yeah.
No, it's I've watched when England played the Kiwis, played the All Blacks and all that stuff. I've seen it many times where they'll be at National Stadium and they'll be stood there and the English team will be around the semicircle like that, and then you boys are all doing your haka things. And just hearing the intensity of that in a stadium that big, but you hear everything. Yeah, it's like it's crazy. It looks like a crazy experience, and you must have to practice that because that's a performance before a performance. Yeah,
especially like what I said, like the Kiwis. So the Kiwis, we do a different haka to the All Blacks.
Yeah,
we've got our own haka, so we practice that like throughout the week. And obviously, new boys that come into the Kiwis would need to get taught the actions, taught everything. We set up where everyone's going to stand, kind of all of that type of stuff before. So when we get to the field, everyone's just
full choreographed everything.
Yeah, so everyone just knows where they're going to stand, and it's more powerful.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, because you do it, don't you do it like sometimes you do it from a point in a triangle, and sometimes you do it wider. It depends on the team you're playing, doesn't it?
Yeah, it just depends on. So at the Kiwis, we got someone who takes the haka, so he's like our cultural advisor. So he'll just come teach us all of that stuff. He'll do all our prayers for dinner and stuff like that, and he'll teach us the haka. So most of the time, we start in a point that's like a spearhead. Yeah. So that's why they'll stand in a point. But heaps of people have their own different ones.
Has there ever been like a massive hoo-ha because someone's completely annihilated the dance routine? Like,
no, not really. Some boys are, I guess, a bit standoffish, like that come from different cultural backgrounds, because it is a Māori war dance,
right?
And I guess like some people probably just don't feel as confident, doing it, but like a haka is like you just show your passion. Like you can stuff up the actions or whatever. It doesn't have to. It's not a dance routine. You could just do anything. But if you're doing it passionate, at the end of the day, you're trying to scare your opposition. And then whatever you do in the haka to
make that happen.
Yeah, it's all good.
Have you ever seen it? Like obviously throughout your international career, have you ever looked at someone and seen them like their bottle go because of a haka, like in the opposition team?
I haven't seen it, but at the start of every haka, I'll look at someone, usually whoever I'm coming up against in that game. I'll look at them like dead in the eye, and I just won't take my eyes off that one person. But,
So you all have your one person.
Yeah, most of the time they're probably doing the same. So like most of the time I'd look at them and they could be looking at someone else and stuff like that. But you do get those eyes where they like look at you and then they like look away and they look back to see if you're still looking at them, those ones. So it's special, and it's a credit to a lot of the other teams as well, for them to let the New Zealand teams do that before a game is pretty special. I think other teams appreciate it as well, because it does lead into the hype of the game, and they probably get just as pumped up now as we do.
I mean, I would be more. It would be weirder for me if you didn't do it. Yeah, because I'm used to seeing, like, every time I've seen rugby, England, New Zealand. Yeah. Whether it's league or union, I'm just used to seeing it. Yeah. If it didn't happen, I'd be like, that's weird, man. Yeah. Because that's just what you expect. That's what the whole world's come to expect. Like, it's a spectacle. It's an art form in itself. Yeah. I mean, to think how much culture goes into it while you're coming through all the youth system and that. It's like taught at every level, right through. Yeah. To even learn, for me today, I've learned that they teach that in schools. That's mad.
Yeah,
that's
bro.
mad.
Yeah.
That's how ingrained it is in your culture. That's nice when you think about it. That's worth a lot.
I think they've been talking about trying to stop the All Blacks from doing it, because I think some teams say that, you know, they're getting a competitive advantage as well. So there's always talks about like not letting them do it, but I think it's just because the All Blacks are so good. Other teams are finding any excuse, you know.
It's just that in New Zealand, as far as I'm aware, I just think that everyone puts their heart and soul into becoming an All Black as a man, as a young man growing up. It's not like you don't hear of many people like picking tennis over rugby as a man. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you've got your sport. Yeah. And you all go in on the same sport, and that's why you're so good. Yeah. Because even though you got the least amount of people out of all the countries in the world, like, what was there, 2 million or something?
Yeah.
2 or 3 million?
I think after, I was looking because of the Olympics, I think it's like 3 or 4.
3 or 4 million, right?
Yeah.
3 or 4 million. But yet you've got some of the best rugby players in the world. Why? Because you guys are playing it from when you're like 6 years old.
Yeah, and it's just a culture. It's just a part of New Zealand's culture.
And not only that, all the New Zealanders and Islanders that come live in New Zealand, they're all fucking massive. You're built for rugby. You're not built... Yeah. Your body determines what sport you pick.
You don't, pretty much, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you boys are built... You boys from day one, when you're eating that taro and stuff, you're built for that. You're built for rugby. Yeah. You ain't going to be built for nothing else. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's ingrained. Yeah. Like, and that's why you're so good. That I think England's got a lot better though over the years.
They're good, bro.
They are good.
They're sharp. Yeah.
They got a lot better. I mean, mate. I remember the day that changed my life. That when rugby really came in, was that World Cup when Johnny Wilkinson was kicking for us. Like
that was against Australia, right?
Yeah. Well, that was a final, but that whole tournament was brilliant. Yeah. That whole tournament, mate. For someone who that galvanised our country. Yeah. Then, because it just made it just same as New Zealand, like the whole country just got around the sporting team, and it's just beautiful to see.
Yeah, sick.
And it's like when this, you know, Johnny Wilkinson, a guy that's put so much time and effort into perfecting his craft, and you know what that takes, and then to do that on the last kick of the game, bro. Yeah, you know how much pressure there is in that, bro.
Yeah, so much.
Like, there's enough pressure standing there.
Bad foot too. Yeah, this is bad foot.
Was it bad foot?
Bad foot. Yeah, he kicked that right footed that field goal, and he's a left footed kicker. Because I grew up, I idolised him for that same job.
Have you ever met him?
Nah, haven't.
You never, your paths. Now I know you're on different sides of the coin, but I thought maybe your paths would cross at some point.
Nah, I probably recognise more like as I said, growing up, I wanted to be an All Black, so I'll recognise old union players over league players because I just didn't follow it at all. So if I seen him on the street, I'd be like, that's Johnny Wilkinson. But I'm terrible like that. I'll see someone famous or anything like that, and I'll never go up and say hello. Like, I don't always have to ask for a photo, but I'm just like, I'm so afraid.
The day I get him on this podcast, and he will be on this podcast, the day I get him on, bro, I'll introduce you.
Yes, bro.
Yeah, please. Because I reckon that'd be sick. I'll sit you both down, because then you can both talk about the different codes. Yeah. And it'd be quite good, because you both play at the highest level, but in different codes. How good a podcast would that be? Do you know what I mean?
That'd be sick. I never kicked no game-winning field goal there, but I'd love to.
Bro, you've played for your country. You've done the hacker. You've walked out in front of 50,000 people for club. You've done a lot, mate. Like, you got to like give yourself some credit at some point, and fair play to you for everything you've done.
Thanks for that.
We were talking before the podcast about the fact of, like, when you're coming up to retirement and the choice you had to make to get out of the game, and you were saying to me before the podcast about the fact that, like, you had a lot of big international offers come in.
Yeah, I didn't have any big international offers. I could have chased options over in the Super League in the UK. Yeah. And this last year was just a crazy year for everyone, you know, and not only just like me because of my situation, but the whole world. So I just didn't want to, you know, I didn't want to chase money, like that for the sake of my family. I didn't know if that was the best option for my family at the time, especially when COVID was so crazy as well. So that's why we're still here, and I'm playing Union now.
Yeah. Where are you playing Union?
Just at Bond. That's how I know Jimmy.
Yeah.
In the gym, yeah. So just playing at Bond. Our season got canned, unfortunately.
What level is Bond?
So it's kind of, there's not many comps in Australia. So there's Super Rugby,
right,
which is the top
level,
and then there's obviously international above that, but then they normally have it NRC, but I'm not too sure if they have it. So it's pretty much like the grade below. So we'll get guys from Super Rugby coming back and playing for us.
Because Jimmy's a good player too, isn't he?
Real good, bro. He played for Italy.
Yeah.
So he's a real good player.
And he played for Italy as a league or union?
Union.
Yeah, he played.
Union.
Yeah, mad, isn't it?
Yeah, he's gone, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was like, this is probably my chance to not go overseas and keep playing league, but my chance to have a crack at trying to get something in union professionally. And over the last year, obviously building my brand and then kind of just chasing that union dream again. And so every decision I make now is either firstly for my family, but for Chur Media and for my union.
So do you think then that you'll play at international level for union now?
I think I've missed the jump in New Zealand. But
But you're not counting it out. Is that like a secret? Is that a goal in the back of your head to see what you've got left? You've changed codes again just to go back.
Yeah, there's just no
because you could have stayed at Broncos, couldn't you?
Oh no, I didn't re-sign there. So yeah, my contract finished, and then they didn't want to keep me on. So that's when I left. But I just don't want to, like, I hate saying that's not an option or that's not going to happen, because there's so many more crazier stories that have happened. There's a cool story about an All Black at the moment. He debuted, he's 29 this year. He was in an All Blacks ad just as an extra 4 years ago. He went down to uni in Otago and was just playing local footy. And now he's an actual All Black. So he was in an All Blacks ad as an extra, like pretending to be an All Black.
Really?
Like 4 or 5 years ago or something.
Fuck.
And now he's an All Black.
And now he's a full on All Black.
All Black, bro.
That's some crazy shit. I mean, what is the time frame that you have to be a top player at union and league level?
Union's a bit different. You could be 35 and killing it, and union will appreciate you. And that's the one thing I probably don't like about league. Is
league's a short career, is it?
Yeah, I think it's so much tougher on the body, depending on what position you play. But if you're a 35-year-old and killing it in an NRL, then everyone's probably just going to be like, okay, this is his last year. You know. Whereas union, you're 35 and killing it, they'll be like, he's got 5 years left. You know, like he's still killing it at that age. I think. Yeah, it's a bit of a funny one. I think union appreciates experience more than league does.
And fucking hell, like there's so much to it in there, really, when you break it all down.
So much.
How much have you learned about your mindset through the whole piece, though, and how pivotal that is?
Throughout my whole career?
Yeah.
Just like, I guess I've always got like something to bring me back. I guess if you look at it from a green down here is my, like, when I'm at my best.
Yeah.
Red's down here, and this is my mental state. I guess like you always kind of want to be in the middle, and what brings me back to the middle is my family and Jess. And I've always, like, whenever I go,
so you anchor yourself to your family.
Yeah. Whenever I lean this way, what's the only thing that's going to bring me back is my family and Jess. And if I get too hot-headed, then I'm like, shit, I need to get back to my family and Jess. And I've kind of just had that kind of over and over and over in any situation in my life. Is like the last probably 6 to 8 months has probably been my like toughest, just like out of the like league system, you know, out of a full-time system where I'm told what to do every day. I'm told where to be every day,
what to train.
Yeah, everything's been someone telling me what to do, and I've been getting paid well for it. Whereas this year it's been like everything's up to me. Like all the money I bring in is up to me. Like I have to be at this place at this time. That's up to me. Like, was it a shock not getting your contract renewed? Yeah, I wanted to stay. I really wanted to stay. We got the wooden spoon last year, and I am such a passionate Bronco. Like I've spent a lot of good years there, and I wanted to get the club back to where it should be. The pinnacle, yeah. Where it should be. Like top 4 every year is what the Broncos should be. and I wanted to be a part of that, and I felt like I could add value there, not only through what I would do on the field, but my experience and my battles that I've, gone through. I could help, others get through their battles, boys getting hurt every day. And I felt like I had a lot more to give, but, I was pretty upset when they literally just didn't call me back, just like wouldn't answer my calls, nothing. I wanted
really?
to stay,
So really they didn't, so they didn't even do it in a nice way then, really?
No, not even, yeah. I wanted to stay, bro, and I was trying to reach out to them, but yeah, they just, because I'd left my manager, so I wanted to do it myself. I wanted to do it myself. I didn't want to be told by my manager, like, oh, they're saying this, they're saying that. Like, I just wanted to do it myself. I was like in there, so I'd know firsthand what was truthful and what was not. But to not be given the time of day after 10 years to be told, like, even if they just told me we don't want you anymore, I would have been happy with that. But just to not like totally disregard my calls and stuff like that was.
So how have you gone about getting closure for yourself and for your own mindset from that experience, or do you still think that's something you're working to terms with?
Yeah, I think it's something I'm working to terms with. I think it's just understanding the situation, that the Broncos was in as well. They were, bottom. They're the worst club in the comp last year, and so they obviously had all that to work around. Getting a new coach, all of the stuff that they're working on, and I guess that's just why.
It's just a culmination, I suppose. I suppose that when things like that happen, someone's head has to roll. You know what I mean? But I mean, I just change the perspective of how I look at it. I think everything that you're doing and everything that's good in the world that's for you right now and it's going to be for you for the next few years and everywhere you're going right now is all a byproduct of you being released.
Yeah.
And if you hadn't have been released, you wouldn't have had to grow into this new version of Jordan.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like you've now got a choice.
Yeah.
You've got to lean into this new version of Jordan, and turn up for yourself, and then as a byproduct of you turn up for yourself, you turn up for your family, or you can be resentful of this over here, and you've obviously chosen the latter, and obviously to obviously lean in for your family and to go. You found a union club, you're training hard in the gym. I see you every other day in the gym, training hard, strength and conditioning your body, working on your knee, working on this. I didn't realise what you're doing, but after talking about your injuries, I presume that's what you're doing. Yeah. You're strengthening your body to play this game.
Yeah.
Bro, the dream's not even over. You might end up playing for the All Blacks and having all these successful businesses as well because the Broncos let you go.
Yeah.
They've probably done you a massive fucking favour.
Yeah.
You've already played league at the top level, you've played for your country.
Yeah.
You don't need to keep playing league, do you? When you think about it logically. You don't need to. You got way bigger things to do now.
Yeah.
Talk to me about how hard it was setting up like Churn Media on the back of. Did you set that up before you left the game, or was it something you literally set up as soon as you left?
Nah, so I set that up in 2019. So I was still playing. That just came off the back of. I was vlogging a lot. I was showing people what it was like to be an NRL player.
Yeah, I love that.
Just giving people an insight, and then. I just enjoyed taking photos and videos. I was doing a lot for our family, for social media campaigns and that type of stuff. Yeah. And I just enjoyed it. So I was like, it's crazy because when I was playing footy, I used to think I had no time. Like I had no time, but I was training 7 to 12, and I'd have the whole rest of the day just to do nothing, and I'd just chill. Like it was good because I had so much time with the family, but I had, like in 2019, I was like, I've got all this time where I can go out, I can shoot, do all this other stuff as well away from footy. So that's when I started Churn Media in 2019. I shot a few weddings, just for mates, and I was like, I want to do this, and then I could build that alongside, playing footy. And then when we got placed into a bubble last year, that's kind of when the clothing came about because I couldn't get out and shoot and take photos because we couldn't do anything.
Yeah. So that took your other income stream out.
Yeah, and I still wanted to build Churn Media. I still wanted people to know about Churn Media. Yeah. So I was like, how am I going to do that? And just off the back of leveraging from the brand that I already had, that's when I just started making clothing, and I just didn't think it was going to go as well as it has, and like each clothing drop that I have, it goes crazy. So I'm just like, it just keeps going and keeps building.
How many pieces did you start off with in the clothing brand? Like in terms of like how many pieces of each piece did you start with, and then how much have you grown to now with each drop?
So I think I started with like 30 t-shirts, just like the plainest t-shirt you'll see, just a black t-shirt with the chur definition on the back.
Yeah, I'm going to need you to drop that definition because I see every Kiwi bloke I meet goes chur bro chur, but I just don't know what the fuck it means.
Yeah, so many meanings. It's crazy. Like you can say it in any situation. It's hello. It's thanks. It's so many things.
It's such a Kiwi institutional word though.
Yeah.
Like to have that as a brand name, it really resonates over here.
Yeah.
Especially with everything you come off the back, and it's also useful to you because coming off because your personal brand grew through obviously playing footy and stuff. You've now got these people. You can get different people wearing your t-shirts because you know these people.
Mm.
Do you know, that's what I call like. People don't realise how much capital they have because they think capital is just money, but capital can also be reputational capital.
Yeah.
And you've took your reputational capital and leveraged your reputational capital to get people wearing your shirts to then that creates your cash flow capital because you've done that. Because I was looking at your Instagram the other day and there was this NBA player wearing your fucking hoodie.
Yeah.
And he plays for Spurs.
Yeah, Paddy Mills. Yeah, I was super
how did that happen?
Paddy's a big Bronx fan, so that's how we met. We met, I think it would have been 2013, and just from that moment on, we kind of just kept in contact. And he just hit me up for some gear one day, so I sent him a few gear, and then they walk into a game and they're wearing fits, and people take photos. He actually sent me. I didn't even see it because I wasn't following Spurs at the time. He sent me the Spurs post, and like on the very first frame of the Spurs post was his entrance wearing a chur hoodie, and I was just like, I think it was a mask first actually. He was wearing a chur mask first, and I was like, bro, I was just so grateful. I remember I was in the car and I was just like, I just couldn't believe it. And then another Australian NBA player hit me up. He literally, I think I put it on my story of Paddy, and he messaged me. I never had any contact with him or anything. He just messaged me. He said, "Where's mine?" I was like, "What the hell?" Like another NBA player hit me up, so I sent him some as well. And then the same thing happened. He was just walking into a game and rocking my merch. It's crazy.
That's fantastic, man. Because I'm gonna build. And we've been talking about this off air, but I'm gonna build a merch brand into what I do as well, like with this, because I just believe that I believe wholeheartedly in this podcast and everything we're trying to communicate, getting people like you on, and I just think it's such a powerful way to communicate what you're trying to communicate and connect with more people. Like, that just goes to show you, doesn't it? It only takes one person and it starts to resonate. I mean, did you get a big influx of sales on the back of these people wearing it? Yeah,
bro. Yeah, I definitely, and just obviously, like me just posting it and people being like, oh, like even people that were just following me already were like, oh, there's NBA players wearing it. I want to buy some now. That hadn't bought some before.
And do you just do it as like limited edition drops of everything?
Yeah. So usually I'll probably come out with maybe the max would be 180 pieces probably.
Yeah, and per drop.
Yeah, per drop.
That's of everything. Hoodies, t-shirts, everything.
Yeah, and most of the time, like over the last year, it's just been restocks of old things that I've sold, because I didn't really, like I said, I hadn't planned on going into the clothing space, but just because it's been going well, I just want to create new and better products for people to get, and I always like put little teasers out and see if people are keen and just see the reactions.
You've definitely got something. You've definitely found your flair outside of the sporting game with the content you're creating. And what I'll do is I'll link the media company. I'll link the things in the description so people can go see it on your Instagram, because I've watched some of the clips and you definitely lean in. It's like I say to most people, like everyone will come to me and say, "Hey Frankie, how do I start a podcast? Or how do I start this? How do I start this?" They'll try and lean into what I'm feel is like my 0.01% skill, and that I've found that's took me years to find, and they'll try and lean into what I'm doing because I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not the question. The question is like, you got to find what lights you up and then lean into that for yourself.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
and that's different for you and different for me.
Yeah.
Like someone else does my video editing,
and
I give them the content and they edit it because that's their skill.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's good that you found your other skill outside of it is to edit all this content and to create this branding and do all that.
Yeah.
You know, because obviously you've spent your whole life tackling people and kicking balls and fucking this, that and the other, doing all things that nothing related to photography or videography. To find that avenue is a fantastic thing, that creative flair.
I think a lot of the time I held myself back from like getting into that because I was worried about what my teammates would say. And social media, you know, it was always like, you posted a photo of you and your missus, that's kind of the.
So that's kind of it seems strange to hear that from an international rugby league player. Do you know what I'm saying?
For so long, bro, I really struggled with that, and I've always been quite imaginative and creative, and the only thing that was holding me back was worrying about what the
other
boys
people
would say to
thought.
me on Monday morning at training. Yeah.
How did you? So actually, then, now you've said that, that shows you why you left the Broncos, bro. That shows you exactly why you didn't get your contract renewed, because you weren't allowed to be your authentic self, were you?
Yeah, it's part of it, I guess. But I've been doing my photo video stuff a long time before I left, and I could relate it back to why I left, because I did leave in 2019 and I played for another team for 1 year.
Yeah.
And then I came back to the Broncos, and that could, like, a lot of the system is like you're a footy player.
Yeah.
Like, and even agents say it. My old agent used to say, like, why are you posting all this other stuff? You know, like, you're a footy player. Like this.
Yeah.
But why can't I do all this other stuff and build my brand? Like,
well, this is the same problem that Alex Ferguson had with David Beckham. Right, David Beckham was a football player, you know, one of the best right wingers there's ever been, right?
Yeah.
But and even the top Man United players at the time from then say he was one of the hardest trainers on the field. But Ferguson got rid of him because he thought his off the field exploits in business and all his investments and stuff were getting ahead of his football. But it was never the case. He went on and killed it at AC Milan. He went on and killed it at Real Madrid and all this stuff. But it's like, if you're brought up like Alex Ferguson or like your coaches or like your and you're in that old world, you know, you're in that, you're indoctrinated into that. It's got to be the one thing, which it had, which is like one dimensional. But you were thinking, no, I want, because you want to look after your family. You're like, I want to create extra revenue streams from things that I love as well. Because when the game's over, you lot aren't going to be there to pay my electric bill. No. Do you know what I mean? Because that's it. That agent will clip the ticket of what you're earning for the next 5 years while you're playing. Yeah. The day you stop playing, he won't ever call you again.
But it's so true. And yeah, like I said, I was glad I got to a point where I was like, I didn't care what anyone else thought, and that's like my main focus was like playing good footy, building my brand for my family, and creating content. And I'm like, I can happily say that, you know, I see younger players now doing stuff outside of the sport, and I can happily say that I had a part to play in that. No one was vlogging, no one was creating so much content like what I was doing when I started it. And if I'd given confidence to anyone to be like, oh yeah, I can do that now, as well as play well.
100%, bro. It's like if you document your whole career, not only, and put it on YouTube, not only have you got it and your family got that for life to look back on, which is a beautiful thing for your kids who perhaps aren't old enough to see it. Oh, I can watch 10 years of my dad's career, right, when I'm 16 years old, because it's documented on YouTube. Not only is it documented on YouTube, but you can generate ad revenue as a byproduct of it being on YouTube anyway. Yeah. And it's no extra work, because all you're doing is documenting what you're fucking doing. Yeah. I don't know why everyone's not doing it.
I know. It's, like, if I could give advice to any, like, young player coming through, like, and there's no doubt, like, a young athlete coming through would know someone that's into filming. It's so common these days for one of your mates to be like into that stuff. Yeah. Give him some money each week. Like pay him $200 or whatever you can afford to pay him.
He'll love it because he's improving his videography skills whilst, it doesn't.
Both of you are going like this.
Yeah.
Both of you. He's going to build his content game and learn so much, and you're going to build your brand by not doing anything, just being yourself on front of the camera.
Yeah.
He can do all the video editing. You don't even have to know about editing or video or anything, but just do it.
And here's the thing that people don't understand is if you got 10 years worth of content of your whole career on YouTube, and then a film director wants to do a movie on a rugby league star, because they want to do a movie on you, and then they've seen you go through your ups, downs, injuries, comebacks, all this stuff through 10 years worth of YouTube videos, and you've now got 250,000 followers or subscribers on YouTube, or 1 million subscribers on YouTube, because you've just put in 10 years of videos every day, right? But not even thought about it. No more work to you. And who's gonna get it? You or the guy that's not got no media, not got no YouTube followers, not got no anything like that? It's like the biggest mistake that I ever made. Right, the best thing I ever did was start talking. I just wish I'd fucking done it 10 years earlier. Bro. I should have been on camera, doing podcasting and doing all this that I'm doing now at 33 years old. I should have been doing it at fucking 18. Yeah, bro. Because it's a life changer. Yeah. Because every week, even if you've got a podcast that's all right, mine's doing bits now. It's starting to catch a lot of traction. It's doing fucking numbers. It's getting in top hundreds in different countries. That's great. But I started with 0 listeners too. Yeah. Right, and I've had to push it over 12 months to get to this point. Yeah. What I'm saying is, even if you fucking just picked up 3 listeners a week, that's 3 more people that you do not know how powerful it is to, even if you did it podcasting for a whole year, or YouTube for a whole year, or created videos for a whole year, you do not know how powerful 250 to 1,000 people at the end of that year is to you. Yeah. And what it can mean to your brand, your connections, your life, your mindset, your opportunity to earn cash flow. Everything just opens up because you're putting out content. But everyone's sitting there behind private profiles or trying to curate their Instagram feed to look a certain way and please certain fucking people and hit this amount of likes and all this fucking crap. Just put out true content to yourself. Yeah. And it's like this morning I woke up, right? I got a message from this guy who's got a fucking top 100 podcast in America. He wants me to go on his podcast. And I'm like, when I ask him how he found me, it's because some other guy who listened to my podcast in America shared my content in America, and he saw it, and then he listened to one episode, and he's like, "Fuck, I want to get this guy on my podcast." And there's a lot more hard work that goes into getting that on that podcast than that. Obviously, there's 12 months, but just start. Everyone
key.
Start, man.
So key, and like you're saying before, you could have. Like, it's just basic business. Like, all you need is like 100 to 1,000 loyal customers that will buy a product. And like, I've got 72,000 people on like followers. But like, if I have like 200 people that will buy merch, then I'm stoked. I don't need all of those people to buy merch. Just start whatever your interests are. It has to be like
aligned with you,
as well. Yeah, it has to be like something you're interested to do as well, because people just see right through it.
I had a go at Jimmy in the gym because he's in there one day, and I'm like, he's doing all these training, and I'm like, why? Where the fuck's the camera? Yeah, I'm like, you're in here on your own. Where's the camera? He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, why are you not filming your training? And he goes, why would I do that? I'm like, you dumb fucker. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, bro, you film all your training for the next 6 months. You can just voice over the videos and you can pull clips out, and that can be your training program. Now you've got a training course. Yeah. Now you've got a starter, a beginning, medium and 30 rugby course. You've got an agility course. You've got all these courses pulled out of content that you've just shot just because you're actually doing the content yourself. Yeah. So you're just training. You set a camera up at one end, film the content, and then you've got YouTube videos, you've got Instagram content, you've got all this content, you've got stories, you've got everything, all this stuff all done, and you just send it to one video editor in one package. He just edits it up, cuts it up, boom, 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 boom. Yeah. And it's like it's what I call net time. No extra time required. Right, and that's what net time is. You should always look for things like if you're cycling on a bike and you're going at you're just trying to hit like, you know, maybe like 5, 8, 10 k's an hour or something on a bike at the gym. You could read a book at the same time. You can listen to a podcast. 100%. There's no extra time involved because you're already there. Yeah, Do you know what I'm saying? So,
Sure.
so anything you can do, like anything that the audience can do like that, where there's no extra time needed, it's like, why wouldn't you do it? And the cameras, you can get a camera for $500, man.
Right, easy. And like I said before, all you need is 3 people a week.
Yeah.
You don't. I think people work like they're wanting thousands and wanting to go viral too much. You get 3 people a week.
Yeah.
It's crazy important.
Bro, like there's a. I mean, I think if you said there's probably about 10 or 12,000 people like a week that probably run through this podcast, probably more. But if you listen to the core, there's probably say there's a core 1,000 people, right? Those core 1,000 people that know, like, love, and value what we're putting out right now, that listen to every fucking episode, whether you're a rugby player or whether you're an e-com guy, that those people, because they know that I'm doing this for the right reason, they know that I want the best for them, they'll probably share it with about 3 or 4 other people. I'd like to hope that I'm giving them enough value for that, and they'll do it. And it's like that word of mouth you get, and that's how you grow.
For sure.
And it's like it's so undervalued. People do not know the value of 100 or 200 people, because if you put them in your fucking lounge, and if you took $20 a week, or $40 a month off these people, like, how does that change your life? It changes your life a lot when you add it up.
Yeah, bro. It's crazy.
It's fucking crazy, man. So like, I'm glad that you touched on that, because it's something I'm trying to drill into everybody that listens to this, is how important it is to 1, start, and 2, no extra time tasks. Like, even if you've got a fucking plumbing business, you should be documenting it. Yeah. Because it's going to get you more work. It's going to get you.
It's crazy. Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's the modern world. Like you said before, we can't just be one-dimensional anymore. It's just like you got to have other shit going. Like, and probably the most successful business people in the world, they've got fucking so many things going, you know.
It's just revenue streams, man. It's just revenue streams. Like, you how many revenue streams do you have now?
So I've got Chur Media, the clothing. I've got the content. I've got my gaming, and then I've got my social media.
So you get paid for gaming as well?
Yeah, bro. Yeah,
so,
building that.
Funny story. I saw you get called a shit. some little tyke. You were playing on gaming right the other day, and I didn't know you get paid, and I'm glad you said that, because I want to talk about this too. But like, I saw you playing the other day, and then some guy's like, "You're a shit rugby player, bro." Like, I was like, this geezer's never got out of his mum's lounge, and he's calling you a shit rugby player, but you've played for your country. I thought, that's ironic, isn't it?
It's so funny, because usually, like, you don't know who you're playing against, and when you kill someone, your name will come up saying that you killed them. So he must have seen my name, quickly said that, and like the 2 seconds that he gets to speak to me. So when you die, right?
Yeah. So you shot him in the head, right?
Yeah. When you kill someone, they've got 2 seconds to say, like, pretty much 2 or 3 seconds to say whatever they want to you, and then that's it. And then for him to like see my name and be like, say it that quickly, that's why I found it so funny. I was like, fuck, I gotta share this. It's funny, yeah.
So talk me through how you're now getting paid for gaming.
So I streamed to Twitch, and just through subscribers. I think I'm up to like 60 subscribers, and that's they pay like $8 every month
to watch you play games.
To watch me play the games, yeah. And that's another thing I built pretty much the same time as my clothing side to Chur Media. At the same time, I was like, I'm in a bubble. I literally can't do anything. So that's when I started the clothing, and I was like, I'm going to start streaming pretty much just to give people an insight to what I was doing. They can just come through on my live stream and just ask me questions, anything about life, footy.
So let me get this straight. You're playing video games in your lounge, right? And you're getting paid $8 a month by 60 people to watch you do what you enjoy in your leisure time.
Crazy.
Fucking hell!
I know.
That is mad. You don't even have to get a nipple out for that.
Right, I know. Over the last month, over the last year, sorry, like Twitch streaming's just gone crazy.
I knew people got paid, but I didn't think you could get. It was that easy.
So they can donate, they can subscribe, they can donate, and then they can gift you these things called bits, where you get a certain portion of money from as well. So they can donate, like anyone could just come on. I've seen people just go on to random people's and be like, here's $2,000. straight into your PayPal.
But I can't understand.
I know.
I don't understand. I get you're getting paid for it, and I understand, and that's great. I don't understand why people are paying to watch people play games.
I guess it's a lot of people, you know.
And I want to understand
comes down
this.
to science. I guess, like when anyone goes live and you write a comment on their live, you're waiting for that person to like see your message and say something back to you.
Yeah,
and I think it's dopamine that you get that dopamine hit from.
Right.
So I think like a lot of the time people are doing it to get that hit, you know.
So they when they pay you like when they tip you, like, oh, cheer, bro.
Yeah, bro, actually, yeah. I've got this little thing that pops up now, and it's like, cheer.
And you do a little shaka as well. You do a shaka.
Yeah, but I guess people just like for me as a small streamer, I'm super small, and for them to just come on and have a conversation that they wouldn't normally get to someone like me is like just. Do you get many of them come in for like talk to you about rugby and stuff? Yeah, heaps. Sometimes I have to put the title as I'm not at the Broncos because so many people come in and ask me questions about the Bronx, and instead of me replying, I'm just like, bro, I'm not at the Bronx anymore. Like I'm not there. Like they're like, when are you back? When are you this? And, I'm not there anymore.
Yeah. Because was it never announced by the Broncos that you'd left then?
Nah.
That's a weird. It's a weird. It's a weird thing when you left that place, isn't it? A weird thing. Shame, really, but I think it's going to make you. I think you're leaning into all the right things.
Yeah.
When you've got 100,000 people paying you $8 a month for streaming, bro, you're not going to be moaning about the Broncos.
Nah. Like, it's crazy, bro. It's I follow a lot of streamers. There's a really big one in Brisbane that plays. He plays a different game, but he's like super famous now. Crazy. Like he'd be multi-millionaire easy just from like streaming his games.
Have you heard of KSI and Comedy Gamer?
Yeah.
Right. So KSI and Comedy Gamer are from my city in the UK.
Yeah, okay.
So when I knew of those boys growing up anyway.
Yeah.
But Comedy Gamer, he was training at my boxing gym, Vic's gym in the UK for his fights. Obviously, look, he didn't do very well in them, but fair play, and he got paid a lot of money.
Yeah.
But the reason I say it is because that shows the power of gaming.
Crazy, bro.
Because those boys, when I was back in England, I think 2 years ago, I was training him in the gym and done some light sparring with him. Very light, very fucking light. But he rolls up in his Lamborghini, bro.
Crazy.
All bought off the back of
gaming,
bro.
It's crazy. It's crazy. You can either be Twitch is cool because you can be a gun gamer, and that's why you like get a big following.
Yeah.
Or you could just go in there and talk shit, and I think I'm probably like in between. I'm okay, but I'm nothing special. I'm not going to go to any comps and win any gaming comps. But
you don't have to. You're getting paid,
talk
bro.
Shit. Yeah, talk shit, and like I'll jump on with the footy boys and just talk shit, and we just be ourselves.
And they get paid too, yeah.
Yeah. If they're streaming, yeah, and like it's just another thing. I just wish I'd done it sooner. We used to go away every away trip. There was 4 of us that used to play FIFA.
Yeah.
And just the banter, bro. Like,
just
ripping on each other. I can imagine if we just streamed in a hotel room of our, like...
We could have done it, though.
Bro, we could have.
A lot of these young players, hopefully they'll listen to this podcast. Hopefully a lot of the younger players will listen to this podcast through your audience and my audience and understand of how many opportunities there are to create streams of revenue whilst you're playing, and also business people that listen to this and people that try and do big shit in their life. Just how many opportunities there are to make money. I mean, I knew you could get, but literally I could set up even if I was a shit gamer myself, but because I'm building a following and building a name, I could set Frankie Lee podcast up on fucking streaming.
Right, easy. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I'm saying? I'm just thinking, fucking hell, can you do it with podcasts then? I'm just thinking outside the box here.
Yeah, you easily could have one show a month where it's live.
Yeah.
Sitting down talking.
Yeah, fucking hell.
Sure, bro. It's crazy. There's so many people think like, I can't do that because this person's doing it, you know? I can't do that. But like, fuck, there's so much room at the table. The table's like endless. All you have to do is drive around the Gold Coast and see how many houses are on the water. Fucking,
yeah.
There's that many rich people.
Yeah,
there's plenty of opportunity for everyone.
Yeah. Well, it's not just here. I think the whole world, like even if you're living in fucking the back end of Glasgow right now and you're listening to this and you're thinking about, oh yeah, but I'm in Glasgow. It's like,
yeah,
bro, like there's so much. Even if you've got to fucking wash 27 cars to earn enough money to buy yourself the streaming camera, just fucking do it.
Crazy.
Because you just want to try and create as many streams of revenue over the internet as possible.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you know what I mean? Because it's the internet that's the key. The key in all this. It's like,
yeah.
Is it online? If it's offline, forget about it. Use offline stuff to make money so that you can get online businesses going.
Yeah.
Because offline, I know there'll always need offline businesses, but like online's where it's at. Like in terms
100%.
of like,
especially over the last year, I think hopefully it's woken a lot of people up that the internet's just king.
They can just turn your business off, physical business off in a day. I mean, even if they turned your online business off in regards to one website, you can pop another one up and drive ads to it the next day anyway. Yeah. So it's like you're more nimble online. There's less overheads. You need to be online. Even if you're a real estate agent, you need to be building an online brand. You need to be doing like digital tours, get all this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, just create some form of stream online. I don't know how you're going to do it, but just find a way to make extra money rather than you having to physically go and sell houses every day.
So true.
You know, it's so powerful, mate. I'm glad we went into all that. What's from your point of view? If there was like 3 or 4 key pieces of advice that you've learned throughout your career as a pro athlete and in the business game that you've learned, what are kind of some of the key points that you drop that you would want to leave the audience if you left the planet tomorrow?
The first thing is what I said earlier is enjoy your youth without tarnishing your future. The second would be know where your middle ground is. My middle ground's my family and my kids. And when everything's going good, I look back I look to them, and that's why I'm doing it. When everything's going bad, I get back to them, and that gives me motivation to get back.
Yeah.
And then my third would just to be like we just spoke about. Just start. Don't worry about what other people's opinions are gonna be. Like they're not gonna be there to pay your bills, like you said earlier. They're not gonna be there to put food on the family for your table. Don't let their opinions hold you back from being able to feed your family and being able to set up a future for your family. Those would probably be my
key points.
Real quick. Yeah, my 3 key points.
Yeah, no, I like it, mate. I think, mate, I just want to say to you personally, well, thank you for doing this podcast today, and like, mate, I'm buzzed for what you're going to do, because I honestly believe, having sat here and gone through all this with you, I honestly believe that leaving the Broncos this year or last year or whenever, leaving the Broncos will be the best pivot that you've ever made in your entire life. For every reason you think you would have thought it would have been a bad idea, it's going to be phenomenal for you, just because of how much time and energy you're allowed. It now opens your mind up to in other areas of your life.
Yeah,
like everything that we talked about in the back end of this podcast that you're building, your clothing brand, your streaming, you playing union again, all that stuff, all the opportunities, you training in my gym now, all this stuff and everything you're enjoying in life, your family time, all this stuff has all come from doing less of something else that you thought was the pinnacle, but now I reckon you're going into a new pinnacle, bro. I really fucking mean that. Really fucking mean it. I appreciate your time. And can you drop all your social medias and all your websites and stuff so people can have a look at your clothing, have a look at your media group, have a look at you personally on Instagram stuff. I'm going to link them all in the bio, but just drop them on the voice as well.
So my personal Instagram is just Jordan.Kahu. My gaming page is just JFlay, JFLAY with 3 Y's at the end. Jordan Kahu on YouTube. And my Chur Media page is just chur.media on Instagram, and yeah, that's pretty much me.
Yeah, beautiful, man, beautiful. And again, mate, and guys, look, just do me a favour, do me a solid favour, yeah. I think we've brought you a lot of value through this podcast. I think there's a lot of learnings in this, whether you're an athlete, business person, or anything else. There's so much value you can pull out of this if you just put your ears around it and leave your mind open to the fact of how many opportunities there are available to you at your table right now. all that I ask of you for turning up and receiving this value today is the fact that, you dropped me a message, you dropped Jordan a message, you let us know how this podcast landed with you, what you resonated with, you share it on social media. It doesn't cost you anything to share it on social media. It doesn't cost you anything to if you got something out of this that's valuable to you in your life, all I ask is you leave me a review on Apple and that you share it with as many of your friends that you think it would help change their life as possible. Because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to impact people's lives through positivity, help them break patterns and flip perspectives in their life, and that's what I'm passionate about and what I want to do. So if you can do that for me and do that for Jordan as well and let him know how this podcast went for you, I would be forever indebted to you. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening and much love.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Frankie Lee Podcast.